my cousin's wedding, and I was a flower girl, and I had never met her before. After that, I've gone 5 times in total. So after that, I've gone 4 times. A couple times was just, I don't think there was any reason.
So how are the weddings like? Is like huge things?
See, that's the thing, is that they're huge by comparison, but they're also, like, my dad's side of the family is Christian, so they're fairly similar to what they are here. They're just bigger. Like, imagine just like a big wedding that, like, and the way it's a lot more communal in India, where it's like, I don't know, like, their weddings aren't like, oh, like, have a guest list and everyone sits down in these like specific places. Literally, like, you can bring your friends, and like there's no assigned guest list. A lot of times it'll be outside because the weather's always fairly nice there. So like literally I went to a tent, and it was just this huge tent with just a bunch of chairs lined up, and it was like you could come and go when you pleased, honestly. And like, it sounds kind of ridiculous, and it, not that it was a guess the amount of food, and it ended up like not being enough, so me and my family just like went to dinner, and like we could just like walk in and out, and it wasn't like a, we just like went and said hi and then like could leave. It wasn't like this like super formal. And like the thing is that we do live in like a city, so it's kind of weird because it's just like we're like middle class but in a city, so it's not like a rural like type thing, but it's still like middle class, so it's still like pretty like casual. Nothing's really like fancily done. So, but the weddings are, the actual like ceremonies are fairly similar to like ours.
Yes,
because
like
it's
traditional-ish.
Yeah. The only difference is just like what people wear, and like the wedding parties, the way that they walk down the aisles was really different. Like the groomsmen and the bridesmaids will walk together.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. It was like the guy and his entire family would be this like barrage of people that just like walked down, and then after he was, and like his whole family was settled, then her entire family would just like walk down, and like everyone would just be like huddled in this place, and then they would all disperse and find their seats. But it's like everyone's immediate family walked them all down the aisle.
So you're not like waiting, like the groom's not like waiting like up there?
He is, but it's just like he walks first with this big crowd of people. And to my knowledge, they don't do like, when the bride walks in, like everyone stands up and turns around. They don't do that. It's like, and it was like, I was actually talking to my mom about this. It's just like the way we walk down aisles is different, which is like such a minor detail, but it's like,
it's a huge thing though, because you're just so used to like this big thing, like the bride, like the princess is coming.
Definitely. And like, even just like, ours are so much more like organized, where it's like, you have to imagine like, my immediate family is 7 cousins, and then 3 aunts and 3 uncles, and then like my parents, right? So it's like this huge like 15, 16 people just like walking down the aisle. Like everyone's like squished in this little like bubble walking down the aisle, whereas like we have these nice little pairs that like come in and veer off, and it's not like that at all. But another thing is just like the discipline of little kids. It's like in the back of the wedding there'll be like kids running around, and it's like, if little kids were to like run around in like a wedding setting, I feel like their parents would be like, sit, stop.
Yeah.
But like there, it's just like, well, let them go. It's like with my family, and the fact that it's like we're pretty chill about those things, or if it's just like a cultural thing. But yeah, that was different. I was standing. She wears a white sari.
Really?
Yeah, and I wore like a red sari, so it was fun. And like it was weird because her bridesmaids, we all didn't have the same dress. We just had to wear the same color. Because like saris look so similar just because they're all like worn the same way. It's not like dresses here where they're cut differently.
Yeah.
So all the saris looked pretty much the same, so all we had to do was find red saris for all of us. So it was just us 3. But then it's also weird, the weddings are completely different, but because the Hindu weddings I've gone to have been here, a lot of the cultural significance has to go away, because like Hindu weddings in India are like week-long things. There's 7 days, and like they do a different thing every day, and like literally, like if you go to like really, I don't know, either like really rich places or like certain places where certain beliefs are held, the groom will ride in on an elephant, and like that's crazy to me. Adorn the elephant, and they like do like a religious ceremony with the elephant before it. It's a lot, and it's like a 7-day event. It's huge. But then here, you can't, like there, it's like, okay, it's part of the culture and everyone understands that, but you can't have a Hindu wedding here and invite all these like American people and say, hi, it's gonna be a 7-day event. Why don't you come to my 7-day wedding? Like, nobody's gonna take off from work for 7 days to go to a wedding, you know? So it's weird because they like take all the cultural stuff and they like remove a lot of the significance and they just like shorten it, and then they do because everything there is tied to religion, and like we don't follow the same religion, so everything is different. But then like I know that if you go to, like, we live in South India, so I know if you go to North India, a lot of the food is different. It's pretty much an entirely different culture. The food is different, their rituals are different, the religions are different, everything is like different. Hinduism is still Hinduism, but it's completely like rituals, just like their ceremonies are completely different, which is crazy to me because it's like you go to a church in Westfield or you go to a church in Nebraska.
Yeah,
they're pretty much you're gonna experience the same thing. You're gonna walk in, maybe if it's like communion, you'll do your like it's pretty much the same setup. Whereas there, I can speak Telugu and I can't speak Hindi, so like. And, like, there's so many languages. It's crazy. And so, like, communication is this big thing there where it's, like, not here at all, you know? But I think it was just the fact that, like, culturally, I can only speak about what I know there, which is very, very little. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
like,
so big. Like,
yeah, there's so much variation. And the fact that I've only gone there 5 times. And, like, it's weird because there I'm aware of the fact that I'm an American in India. Like, I can't speak Hindi, which is a huge, like, cultural barrier. And then I also, like, just don't know some of the cultural norms, and I don't, I do feel like, oh, okay, like, I'm an American in that society, and I can tell just by the clothes I wear and the way I carry myself is completely different. But my anecdote was the fact that, like, cultural norms differ in the sense that, like, this is the best description I can have for you, is that, like, begging, essentially, like, think about, like, New York begging times about 80, and that's like the begging that you get in India. It's crazy. A lot of people will fake illness so that they'll get money. So one of the things that I thought was really, really, like, culturally shocking was the fact that, like, they associate being on crutches with, like, someone begging, because
you're not healthy, or you're not, like,
yeah. And it was like crutches in particular, like, or like if you have like a bandaged arm or something, like they connect that with poverty, and they connect that with like begging and that kind of culture, which is so weird. It's like such a weird, like, actually when I was in India in December, I broke my foot the day I landed. Clothes, walking out of a really expensive hotel, like getting into a really nice car on crutches, and the looks I got, I could never describe. People were like jaw dropped staring at me, like, what is wrong with this girl? Like, why is she? And I looked at my cousin, I was like, why the hell are people looking at me like that? And he was like, oh, because you're on crutches and they like expect you to be like a beggar, but here you are like walking out of a nice hotel and they like can't connect the two. It's like very weird for them. So I was like, God. If I wore shorts, like, I would get stared at, like, judged by, like, creepy old men would just be, like, staring at you. The thing is that, like, women don't wear shorts. Like, not, it's getting better from what I've heard, but, like, and it was to the point where, like, when we went to the mall, when we think of, like, oh, like, walking down the street and being, like, whistled at or being, like, hollered at, that to us is, like, oh, that's so, like, not nice.
Yeah.
But they take it to a whole nother level. That they're okay with it there, that's the biggest difference, I think, because, like, here, but I think it's just the fact that they're okay with it there, that, like, if I were to walk into a store, those kids, or whatever, like, they wouldn't stop, like, it wouldn't go away, like, nobody can really, like, get them to stop. It's not like it's just like an
so they don't see, like, anything wrong with it? It's
yeah,
just
exactly.
Like...
Actually, I did this whole manic pixie dream girl thing is, like, this, oh, like, stereotypical women character, but, like, or, like, this ditzy woman character, but, like, that's every single movie in India, like, pretty much. And, like, now they're starting to change it, but, like, and I was talking, the movie industry just, like, perpetuates this stereotype that women are just these sexual objects, these helpless sexual objects. And it was actually the craziest statistic that, like, stuck with me the most, and, like, want to talk about cultural differences. This, like, made me want to, like, hug the entire subcontinent of India. 50% of men, male and female, adolescents, that's kids, I think they said between the ages of 15 and 18, 50% of them on average believe that spousal abuse is okay. Like, acceptable. Spousal abuse is, like, I'm not saying that it's all, not just, these are not old people, this is not an old generation, this is our age and younger, guys and girls who are sitting there saying, I've seen my dad hit my mom, and I think it's totally okay. And that, to me, is, like, the biggest cultural thing that's, like, what? Like, when you talk about, like, oh, the food and the weddings and the dressing, and it's all, like, okay, yeah, the culture's different, but it's fun, and, like, I love the fact that I can speak a different language, and I love the fact that I can dress in a sari and look good, and I can dress in jeans and look good. Like, these are a point of, like, elegance. Like, you wear them to look nice. I'm thankful for the environment that I grew up in, and not just, like, living in America, but living in, like, Westfield, New Jersey. Like,